What we are going to start with today is going to be the very early beginnings when we dabble in being an empire. Now, like I say, American imperialism, our transformation into an empire, is very different from other examples around the world. You guys had some great examples to start today when you said like the Romans are an empire, the Mayans, how they just conquered nearby areas and just gobbled them up into their empire. The United States can be different. We see our empire as really almost an economic venture. But it's not just economics that drives this. It's going to be the fact that we have within our past a deep-seated reason to continue expansion. For these ones, this will be American imperialism. For the next couple of days here, we just have to talk about us becoming an empire, and then we're going to see it actually happen with the Spanish-American War. Now, first off, before we get into the specifics, I want you to take a look. This is the United States in 1896. Now, I should probably ask first, in its most basic sense, Manifest Destiny was us expanding from Atlantic to Pacific. By 1896, have we basically completed Manifest Destiny? Basically, yeah. We break out of the original 13 states. We move all the way across the continent. We bring these things about America. By 1896, are we going to say, okay, we're done? There are opportunities that are going to go further. We just have to tweak our definition. Manifest Destiny is going to morph. As people start saying by the late 1800s, we should join our European counterparts. We should be an empire. If we're going to be an empire, we're going to have to continue expanding. We're going to have to go overseas. We are going to have to take our colonies as well. But like I was saying before, American imperialism is very, very different from some empires we've seen in the past. We saw the Spanish just absolutely decimate native people within South America and Central America, and then just cut and run. We have seen the Romans slaughter millions of people to build their empire. The Americans say, our empire is going to be different. We are going to bring in these colonies. We want to make them states. We are going to build our empire on humanitarian and moral grounds. We're going to continue the work of Manifest Destiny. We are going to bring to other people around the world Christianity and democracy and technology and civilization. We are going to do this to help other people around the world. And we're going to do this to expand our way of life and to expand our prosperity. We just need to tweak Manifest Destiny ever so slightly. Now, the thing is, by the late 1800s, we are very much late to this imperialism game. You guys just saw the Europeans have been colonizing the world ever since the late 1400s. We are quite literally 400 years behind them. If we're going to be a major world power, if we're going to transform into an empire, we're going to have to compete against those Europeans. We got to catch up, and we better do it fast. But the world is changing in the late 1800s. The world is transforming from one that was a society based on agriculture to now one that's based on industry. If you're going to be an industrial power, you better have the natural resources necessary to do so. We need to go and be certain if we have our empire, that we do it very strategically. We set our eyes on really a couple big areas around the world. We look and say, if we are going to be an empire, we need our colonies. But it would be very, very foolish to take on one of the biggest powers on Earth. Now, this right here is a map of the British Empire at their height. There was an old saying that says the sun never sets on the British Empire, because they quite literally have colonies all over the world. If we're going to be an empire, we're going to have to compete, but it probably would not be a good idea to upset these major powers. Now, I will tell you this. We're very much on the rise. We're becoming a big power, but we need to be careful. Now, you guys saw a little bit ago some places that might need American help. We're going to set our sights on our own backyard. We're looking to get colonies in the Western Hemisphere. We want to bring them in as states, as if there was something that we create in the early 1800s that said, we will protect the Western world. We will be the hegemon. What was that thing where we said, we'll be the power in the West? What was it? Excellent. Monroe Doctrine, we start saying, we will protect the West. We will make them states if needs be. But there is something else. The great prize of the imperialism game. We want colonies in China. Now, we're not the only ones that are looking at China as the great prize of the imperialism game. The Europeans want to carve up China as well. Now, I need to ask, I hope I don't go down this horrible road that I've done before. China is the great prize because there are a lot of industrial nations looking at China. They say China has something that an industrial power would want access to. China has a huge number of, what do they have a huge number of? Gold? Sorry, what was it? They have a huge amount of people. Now, let's kind of connect some dots here. First off, if you're an industrial power, and there's a nation that has literally millions of people, what do those people potentially represent to an industrial power? What's one thing? Workers. They can be laborers. They can work in factories, absolutely. But if they're working in factories and they're making money, what else do those people represent? As immigrants coming to America were a part of this as well. What might those people making money do? Everyone, what do you think? Hack? That's part of it, certainly. If you're a big industrial power making a lot of products, what might billions of people do? Is they buy it for the consumers. There are new markets. There are literally millions of people